Lots of people were looking at Wi-Fi as just kind of free internet for people to use, and
There was that opportunity through becoming a smart city.
we saw the Wi-Fi contract as an enabling infrastructure.
And just looked at all the things that were possible with new digitisation, with AI, with sensors, etc. And it just really was an eye-opener.
A way of building infrastructure that could connect anything in the city to the internet, to connect people with things and things with other things, and really create some spectacular use cases.
The speed of which that can be deployed is a really powerful thing for us.
Simple outcomes are driven by simple solutions. It's just getting the right people together to add that value.
Councils traditionally have had multiple systems in which they store data, but they've not been that effective at joining the data across different systems together to use that strategically to plan services within the city. And the recognition that there was that opportunity through becoming a smart city was at the heart of it.
Like other councils, we provide lots of different services, and hence we have lots of different systems across the council. Many of those systems have quite siloed data sets that are specific to that service delivery and function. We came to the conclusion that actually some of this data would be useful for another service in their day-to-day, decision making. The challenge was finding something that could enable us to drag all of this data together and be able to present it and allow easy access to that data to any number of people across the service areas across the council.
There was a Wi-Fi project going on with the council and Connexin, which I wasn't involved with, and I was looking to replace my CCTV cameras from analogue to digital. And one of my colleagues said, "Oh, you need to go and talk to Connexin," and so met with Facan, and we really sort of took the scale off my eyes around what was possible with just CCTV. And then we followed that up with a couple of meetings with Facan and Will and Alex, and just looked at all the things that were possible with new digitisation, with AI, with sensors, etc. And it just really was an eye-opener.
The city were fortunate to become City of Culture in 2017, and in the lead up to that there was a recognition that we needed to establish a Wi-Fi facility across the city, and we let a concession contract to support that. The knowledge we gained through letting that contract, and indeed the awareness of the unique digital infrastructure that existed within the city, led us to recognise the opportunity that we had as being the smartest city in the UK and having the best digital infrastructure in the UK.
Lots of people were looking at Wi-Fi as just kind of free internet for people to use and trying to make money off it by showing ads, and we saw the Wi-Fi contract as an enabling infrastructure to do cooler things. So at that time when the tender came out, it couldn't have been better timing really. Connexin was developing its smart city and Internet of Things technology, and we were looking at this Wi-Fi contract as a way of building infrastructure that could connect anything in the city to the internet, to connect people with things and things with other things, and really create some spectacular use cases.
We started off and put some litter bin sensors into some about between 15 and 20 bins around the city. And that was to do a number of things. One was to test the technology, and I've found out since that most of the technology works really well anyway, so that's never really an issue. The other thing was for me to test out how we might change operationally as well, what we might need to do things differently, and what that could do for me in terms of route optimizations, how we might make some savings from those things, how we improve the customer service. That again was a really good project. So just from that small sample of sensors, we really got a lot of benefit from that, and allowed me to see what was the art of the possible really.
The opportunity of LoRaWAN was something that both the council recognised and Connexion recognised, and we invested in a number of gateways to enable use of the LoRaWAN network available through the Things network. Connexion took it to a different stage. They invested in a business-grade infrastructure, ensuring that the city had comprehensive LoRaWAN coverage, both on a secure business basis, but also on a free-to-use open network. And that complementing the fixed wireless access and the full fibre to the premises provision put us in an even stronger position.
The network is huge across the city and one of the biggest in the UK, I understand. But what it did for me was it allowed me to deploy really quickly, really easily. So those sensors, they were in within days. I could just put them in, get them working, and away they were. So the speed of which that can be deployed is a really powerful thing for us.
People talk about smart cities. What does that actually mean? To us, it's about improving people's lives, using technology to deliver that. There's an element of kind of connecting everything together in that, and then using that information to generate that value. People normally talk about data as being the new oil. We talk about, well, if data is the new oil, then the connectivity, the wireless networks that we've been building, like the Wi-Fi network and the LoRa network, are the pipelines that bring the oil to a refinery. And the Connexion OS platform is that refinery that harnesses that value out to share that and create those outcomes that improve people's lives.
Fakan and I went down to London and it was a demonstration of the platform to me, and it was incredible. But what it really allowed me to do was to see what those benefits are. So not just from bringing sensors in and the artificial intelligence in and all that sort of thing. It was really about bringing that data together that allowed us to look at those, not just the forecasting, but start to move into that predictive mode, and how we could start to blend all that with our public sector partners as well. It's just endless.
Started off with a vision to bring in, I think, 12 different systems across the council that included things like environmental sensors, so flood levels, temperature, as well as smart bin information, and some of our other systems around waste management and our fleet management. These are all separate systems, and obviously being able to bring them together gives you opportunities to look at the data in different ways that you might not have seen just looking at it in isolation. In addition to that, we've been able to bring in some static data sets around our geographical layers. So we already had layers of data around crime statistics across the city of Hull, ownership of land and things like that. When you start to be able to overlay those layers onto data around lighting, for instance, you can make those relationships between poor lighting areas and crime rates. It's those sort of things that we knew would be possible, but you don't really realise until you've actually got all of this data together in one place.
So one of the early opportunities was the use of transport data to provide information to passengers travelling by buses. At the Paragon Exchange, we have real-time data, not fed through some third-party source, but from our own data pulled together into the platform for use by the citizen to their benefit.
Another one is the ice sensors, and I'm really excited about this one. So we've been using the ice sensors to monitor the road temperatures, to look at whether we can replace the old-fashioned road sensors for winter gritting. The knock-on benefit of that is we've been able now to send signals out to the hospitals, to doctor surgeries, to libraries, to inform them when temperatures are getting low.
And in addition as well, one of the benefits that came as a result of having the platform, when we hit the pandemic, obviously, there was lots of data in different places around COVID rates, and we needed a mechanism to bring all of that together into a single place. The platform enabled us to be able to bring all of that COVID data together in one place.
All those projects are all tied into what we're doing with the platform, and it's that ability to see the data and to see where we can make the best use of our runs, where we can make the best use of our operations. And those early alerts, when there are things such as flooding, those early alerts to tell us that something's wrong is invaluable.
Currently, it's been quite inwardly looking, and it's been about providing that consolidated data to our internal teams. The next stage is how we use that for the benefit of the citizens in Hull, so how we can present some of this information to the public.
To complement that, the city is looking to expand hubs where people can engage with the technology and see the opportunity that it brings and be enabled to access services through that technology. Of course, that was a key component of our original strategy around enabling Wi-Fi across the city when we let our first concession contract. Because our focus was not just upon the city centre, it was upon providing access to Wi-Fi in some of the poorer neighbourhoods across the city, with a vision to eventually provide that facility across all those areas that can make use of it.
Connexin have really helped us on our journey and our smart city strategy in ways that I don't think we'd have got with other vendors. They understand the city, they've worked with the councils, many services previously, and the good thing I would say about working with Connexin is they will always get to the root of the problem and ask for what outcome do we want to achieve, rather than just diving in at what the technology solution.
4 or 5 years ago, I was overspending as a department by about £1.4 million every year. We've taken that completely away, even to an underspend situation around that. So it isn't ever one thing. It's don't see it as this is the answer. It's part of the answer, but it's a big part of the answer as well. And it isn't about saving money all the time. It's about improving the service delivery. My cost of failure has dropped dramatically because of the technologies that we've brought in. So that, rather than going off and doing a repeat piece of work or a new inspection or a miscollection, we're picking it up first time, it's going away, and we're getting more done for the same amount of money. So, and that's what's been really powerful for me.
Smart cities and IoT can be quite daunting, but we shouldn't make it like that. It should be about how do we improve outcome A, parking, and then sitting together, workshopping, and collaboratively solving those solutions together. So it doesn't have to be as big and as complicated as sometimes it's made out to be in the industry. Simple outcomes are driven by simple solutions. It's just getting the right people together to add that value.